Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about amino acids and proteins. So the name itself it is giving an idea about what kind of organic molecules that we are going to discuss, right? So amino acids, as we know that amino and acids. So the organic molecules which are containing both amine functional group, that is NH2, and carboxylic acid functional group, that is COOH functional group. So those type of organic compounds are called as amino acids. So means both carboxylic acid group and amine group, both functional groups are there in one organic molecule. So those are amino acids. So those are nothing but amino carboxylic acids. So here, as we know that proteins, so proteins are the essential constituents for our body, because so many reactions which requires proteins. These proteins are the polymers of amino acids. So there are n number of amino acids which are attached with amide or peptide bond, so that proteins are formed. Means so amino acids are the essential constituents for the proteins. So for the preparation of proteins we required amino acids, right? So in our body there are so many reactions which are occurring in through enzymes and hormones are majorly controlled by the proteins. So proteins play a key role in oxygen transfer through hemoglobin, right? And also, as we have discussed in enzymatic catalysis, right, most of the enzymes are proteins. So proteins are essential to develop antibodies in protection to the body, and also proteins are the essential elements for the development of different organs in our human body. So to as the proteins are very important compounds, so we have to discuss about the proteins, so and also amino acids, right? So as earlier we have discussed that amino acids which are consisting of both carboxylic acid group and amine functional group, that is NH2. So this is the general formula of amino acids, right? So here both amino functional group, carboxylic acid functional groups are there. So that's why these are called amino carboxylic acids, right? So in this there are two groups, one is COOH group. So here COOH group is carboxylic acid group, so it's automatically a acidic group, and amine group, that is NH2. So here amine group is a basic group. Here COOH group can give a H plus ions, so that it can act as a acidic group, and here NH2 group is there. So this group has a capability to accept protons, so that this is a basic group, right? So here two groups are there. So this is nothing but a amphoteric compound, because both acidic group and basic groups are there. Now classification of amino acids. So based on the position of amino functional group. Here, so based on the position of amino functional group, so amino acids are classified into three types. One is alpha amino acids, beta amino acids, and gamma amino acids. Here the first thing is alpha amino acids. So with respect to the COOH group, okay, as COOH group is a functional group, and then the next carbon is alpha carbon, the next carbon is beta carbon, the next carbon is gamma carbon, that we know, because the carbon which is attached to the functional group is alpha carbon, the next carbon is beta, the next carbon is gamma, then as we know, right? So here the amino group, that is NH2 group, which is attached to the alpha carbon, so then those are called alpha amino acids. So these are nothing but 2 amino carboxylic acids, because this amine group is attached at second carbon, that is nothing but alpha carbon. So alpha amino acids are nothing but 2 amino carboxylic acids. So this is the general formula, that is RCH NH2COOH. This is the first carbon, this is second carbon, that is nothing but alpha carbon because functional group attached to carbon. So that this way these are alpha amino acids. The next one is beta amino acids. As simple as that. So here amino group is attached to the beta carbon, that is nothing but third carbon. So this is COOH functional group, CH2 alpha carbon, CH beta carbon, and then next one is alkyl, and here this amino group is attached at beta carbon. So that's why these are beta amino acids. These are nothing but 3 amino carboxylic acids, 3 amino carboxylic acids, because the amino group is attached at beta carbon, that is nothing but third carbon, right. The next one is gamma amino acids. So here gamma amino acids, the amino group which is there is attached at gamma carbon, that is nothing but fourth carbon. So that's why, so these are called gamma amino acids, are nothing but 4 amino carboxylic acids, because so 1, 2, 3, 4. So here NH2 group is attached at fourth carbon. So that's why those are 4 amino carboxylic acids. So here out of alpha, beta, gamma amino acids, so only alpha amino acids are naturally occurring amino acids, and around 24 amino acids both in animals and plants are identified so far. Out of these 24, in our human body requires around 20 amino acids. So majorly 20 amino acids which are required for our human body to form proteins as well as to for the development of our human body. So now we will be discussing about alpha amino acids, right, 20 alpha amino acids. So the general formula of amino acid, alpha amino acids is this, that is R CH NH2 COOH. So here two functional groups. So here this is COOH functional group, this is alpha carbon, and that amino group is attached to alpha carbon. So that's why alpha amino acid. This is the general formula. So based on the alkyl group, R group, so there are the names of amino acids will differ based on the alkyl group. So here the first one is glycine. So here R is H, that is H CH NH2 COOH. So that is glycine. Next one is alanine. So here R group is methyl group, so that is CH3 CH NH2 COOH. So this is alanine. The next one is valine. Here the R alkyl group is isopropyl group, that is CH3 CH CH3, then CH NH2 COOH. So this part is common for all alpha amino acids, okay, and alkyl group will change based on the alkyl group, the name changes, right. So here in the case of valine, that is isopropyl, that is CH3 CH CH3, this attached to CH NH2 COOH. This is valine. The next one is leucine. So here butyl group is there, that is CH3 CH CH3 CH2, and this is the common part for alpha amino acids. And isoleucine, here this is isobutyl group is there, CH3 CH2 CH CH3, which is attached here. Then R is isobutyl group, that's why it is isoleucine. The next one is serine. So here the alkyl group is CH2OH. So here this serine is containing an additional functional group, that is OH, hydroxy group. And threonine, this is the alkyl group. Here CH3 CH OH CH NH2 COOH. So here these two, serine and threonine, are containing a additional functional group, that is hydroxy OH group. The next one is cysteine. Cysteine is alkyl group is this, that is CH2SH, and then CH NH2COOH, right, that is cysteine. The next one is methionine. So here CH3S CH2 CH2 CH NH2 COOH. So this is the alkyl group. So here these two, cysteine and methionine, are containing sulfur atom, right? So here cysteine is containing SH, thioalcohol or thiol group, and methionine is consisting of CH3S, CH2, CH2, means thioether group. Okay. The next one is aspartic acid. So that is this is the alkyl group, that is CH2, COOH, COOH, CH2, CH, NH2, COOH. This is aspartic acid. Next is glutamic acid, that is this is the alkyl group, and here COOH, CH2, CH2, CH, NH2, COOH. So here these two, aspartic acid as well as glutamic acid, are additionally containing one functional group, that is COOH group. So along with the regular amine and carboxylic acid group, and these two are consisting of additional acidic group, that is COOH group. Next one is aspargine. As we know, this aspartic acid, and then the amide is called aspargine, that is NH2CO, CH2, NCH, NH2COOH. This is the alkyl group, right? So aspartic acid, when it converted into amide, so then automatically this is called aspargine, right? The next one is glutamine. This is similar to glutamic acid. So amide of glutamic acid is glutamine, that is NH2, CO, CH2, CH2, CH, NH2, COOH. This is the alkyl group, right? Next one is lysine. Lysine NH2, CH2, CH2, CH2 4 times, then CH, NH2, COOH. So this is the alkyl group here, right? The next one is arginine, that is NH2, C double bond NH, NH, 3 methylenes, then CH, NH2, COOH, and here this is the alkyl group. Here these two, especially lysine and arginine, so these two are additionally containing one base group, that is one amine additional group is there. So these two are, lysine and arginine are containing one additional base group is there, amine group, right? The next one is phenylalanine. As we know, that is alanine. When alanine is attached to phenyl group, that is phenylalanine. So here phenyl, CH2, that is benzyl group, CH, NH2, COOH, right? So this is alkyl group here, right? That is phenylalanine. So here phenyl group is there. And next is tyrosine. Tyrosine is PH, OH, CH2, CH, NH2, COOH. So para hydroxy phenyl group is there. So in this para hydroxy phenyl group is there. This is the alkyl group. So this is a para hydroxy phenyl group which is attached to alanine. So then that is called tyrosine, right? So here these two, phenylalanine is consisting of phenyl group and the tyrosine is consisting of para hydroxy phenyl group. The next one is proline. So proline is the structure of proline is this. This is a pyrrolidine ring is there in this proline, that is pyrrolidine. Alpha carbon is attached with COOH. So this is this ring is called 5-membered nitrogen ring is called pyrrolidine ring. The next one is histidine. So here histidine is structure is this, and here this is the alkyl group. This is the alkyl group. So here histidine is containing imidazole ring. So this ring is called imidazole. So that is 5-membered ring which is having 2 nitrogens. Next is tryptophan. This is alkyl group here, that is R, and this attached with CH, NH2, COOH. So this ring is called as indole ring, that is indole ring. So here proline, histidine and tryptophan are containing different cyclic compounds, nothing but cyclic heterocyclic compounds. So proline is containing pyrrolidine ring, and histidine is containing imidazole ring, and tryptophan is containing indole ring. So these three are consisting of heterocyclic compounds in the structure. So these are 20 amino acids. So based on their alkyl group which is attached to it. Now based on the second classification, based on the essential and non-essential, the second classification of amino acids is this. Second one is essential amino acids and second one is non-essential amino acids. So what is mean by essential amino acids? Which are which cannot be prepared in our body with available compounds, right? So nothing but these are essentially supplied through the food only. So means whenever we are supplying different kind of food, then only these kind of amino acids will be given to the body. So those are some of the examples like histidine, lysine, leucine, phenylalanine, valine, tryptophan. So these are the essential amino acids, some of the essential amino acids which can be supplied through the food to our human body, which cannot be prepared in our human body. Now non-essential amino acids. So these are this we may not give through the food, but automatically in our human body these can be produced based on the availability of different compounds through different reactions. So this kind of amino acids are non-essential amino acids which are produced in our human body. So those are glycine, alanine, serine, aspartic acid, glutamic acid and aspargine. So these are the some of the examples of non-essential amino acids. Next is based on the acidity, basicity and neutrality. Amino acids are classified into three types. One is acidic amino acids, basic amino acids and neutral amino acids, right? So here the first one is acidic amino acids. So acidic alpha amino acids are nothing but as we have discussed in amino acids, one acidic group is there, that is COOH, and one amine group is there, that is basic group. If these two groups are there, that is in neutral, because one amine group, one basic group, that is amine group, and one acidic group, that is COOH group. So automatically it's a neutral compound. If amino acids are containing additional acidic group, so those are called acidic amino acids. Along with regular COOH and NH2 groups, the amino acids which contains additional acidic group, those are called acidic amino acids. See for example aspartic acid. Aspartic acid is containing one additional COOH group, and glutamic acid, it is also containing one additional COOH group, and tyrosine is containing this para 4-hydroxy phenyl group or para-hydroxy phenyl group. So here this COOH, here COOH and here OH. So these are additional acidic groups which are present in the amino acids. So that's why these are all are examples for acidic alpha amino acids. Next one is basic amino acids. So here along with regular COOH and NH2 groups, so these amino acids are containing additional basic group, that is nothing but a amine group. Say observe here lysine. Lysine is containing one additional NH2 group, and arginine is containing one additional base group, and histidine is containing one additional base group, and also glutamine, aspargine also, because those are containing amide groups, right? So these all are containing additional base group, that is additional amine group. So that's why these all are examples for basic amino acids. The next one is neutral amino acids. Neutral amino acids which contain only one amine group, one carboxylic acid group. So there is no additional groups, additional acidic groups, additional basic groups. So those kind of amino acids are called neutral amino acids. So those are nothing but monocarboxylic acid. See, one amine group, one carboxylic acid group, that is glycine, alanine, valine, leucine. So these are the some of the examples for neutral amino acids. So here only one amine group is there, one carboxylic acid group is there. That this type of amino acids are neutral amino acids. Next is structural configuration of amino acids. So here if you observe the structures of the 20 amino acids, so all amino acids are containing minimum one asymmetric center except glycine. So glycine is not containing any asymmetric carbon except glycine. All other amino acid containing minimum one asymmetric carbon, right? So observe the formula of glycine. That is glycine, that is H, CH, NH2, COOH. Here this carbon is not a asymmetric carbon because this carbon is not attached with 4 different groups. But in remaining all amino acids, so this carbon here R, CH, NH2, COOH, this is asymmetric carbon because which is attached with 4 different groups. So means except glycine, all amino acids are asymmetric, which are containing, that is nothing but chiral compounds which can rotate the plane polarized light, right? So here see, all these amino acids are having similar structure to the L-glyceraldehyde. So all amino acids which are similar structure to the L-glyceraldehyde. So observe here, this is the structure of L-glyceraldehyde, that is COOH, because the name has come, the configuration of L has come because the OH group is at left side at asymmetric carbon. So here also in the case of amino acids, the OH group is at left side. So that's why this structure is similar to L-glyceraldehyde, right? COOH, C, H, NH2, R. So this, as we know that whenever the L configuration is there, automatically the absolute configuration should be S. So that's why all amino acids are S configuration amino acids. So means amino acids containing S configurations. And here if you observe the structures of isoleucine and threonine, these two are containing 2 asymmetric carbons, 2 asymmetric centers are there in these 2 amino acids. Isoleucine, the formula of isoleucine is this, that is CH3, CH2, CH, CH3, CH, NH2, COOH. Here these two carbons are asymmetric carbons. And in the case of threonine also, CH3, CH, OH, CH, NH2, COOH. And here these 2 carbons are asymmetric carbons. So these isoleucine and threonine are containing 2 asymmetric centers. This is the structural configuration and of amino acids. So all amino acids are containing L amino acids and they have S configuration. Next one is preparation methods are nothing but synthesis of alpha amino acids. The first method is from alpha halo acids. Here, so carboxylic acid group which are containing alpha hydrogens treated with chlorine in the presence of Hi and red phosphorus. Then by losing HCl they form alpha chlorocarboxylic acid. Here this chlorine group is attached at alpha carbon, means alpha hydrogen will leave as HCl and one chlorine is attached at alpha carbon, then you will get alpha chlorocarboxylic acid. This reaction is called alpha halogenation of carboxylic acids, nothing but HVZ reaction, that is alpha halogenation is the first step. So then whatever the alpha halo, nothing but alpha chlorocarboxylic acid which is formed from this HVZ reaction is treated with ammonia, is reacted with ammonia, then so this chlorine and one hydrogen from amine, it leaves as HCl, and this amine group, that is NH2 group, is attached at alpha carbon, so that you got RCH NH2 COOH. So in place of chlorine, that NH2 group is attached, so that alpha amino acids are formed in this reaction. This is the first method from alpha halo acids. So in this method, what we have done, the carboxylic acids which are containing alpha hydrogens are treated with halogen, nothing but chlorine, in the presence of HI and red phosphorus, then it forms alpha chlorocarboxylic acids, that is nothing but HVZ reaction or alpha halogen reaction. And after that, in the second step, whatever the alpha halo carboxylic acid which is formed from the first step is reacted with ammonia, and then it forms alpha amino acids. So this is the first synthesis method of alpha amino acids. So through this process we prepare glycine and alanine. Now first with alpha halo carboxylic acids method, so we are synthesizing glycine. So glycine, what is the formula of glycine? That is CH2 NH2 COOH. So here R is hydrogen, here R is hydrogen, right? So here, so to that as we know here, just observe the previous slide here, that is R CH2 COOH. Now so we have to take, in the case of glycine, that is CH2 HCOOH, that is nothing but CH3COOH. acetic acid is the starting material. So when this acetic acid is treated with chlorine in the presence of HI and red phosphorus, then this forms alpha chloroacetic acid, then it is treated with ammonia, then in the place of chlorine, that amine group is substituted, automatically it forms glycine, that is CH2 NH2 COOH. This is glycine is formed. So means to synthesize glycine we require the starting material is acetic acid, right? Next is synthesis of alanine through this process. So we know alanine formula, that is CH3 CHNH2 COOH. Here R group is methyl group, right here. So the starting material is CH3 CH2 COOH. So that is nothing but propanoic acid, and when this propanoic acid treated with chlorine in the presence of HI and red phosphorus, it forms alpha chloropropanoic acid, that is CH3CHCl COOH, right? So this alpha chloropropanoic acid is reacted with ammonia, and then automatically the amine NH2 group is attached to the alpha carbon. So then this is alpha amino carboxylic acid is formed here. So that is nothing but alanine is formed, that is CH3 CHNH2 COOH. So this is the synthesis of alanine through this process. In the synthesis of amino acids, the second method is malonic ester method. So in this method we will take as starting material as malonic ester. So that is nothing but diethyl malanoate. So here just observe, this is malonic acid, that is which is consisting of two carboxylic acid groups, that is CH2 COOH COOH. So this is called malonic acid. So ester of this malonic acid is called as malonic ester, that is CH2 COOET COOET, and this is malonic ester. This is nothing but diethyl malanoate is the starting material in the preparation of amino acid through the malonic ester method process. Now we will see the reaction mechanism of this process for the preparation of amino acids. So in this process the starting material is malonic ester. Just observe here, this is CH2 COOET COOET. So when this malonic ester is treated with sodium in the presence of ethyl alcohol, so then what will happen, this ethoxide ETO minus will take alpha hydrogen, that is nothing but CH2, the hydrogen at alpha carbon. So there you will get Na plus CH minus, then COOET, COOET. So this is called sodium malonic ester. So here that alpha hydrogen is removed as H plus, so that you got a carbon ion, that is CH minus, and which is having a counter ion with Na plus, right. Sodium malonic ester is formed. Now to this we will add alkyl halide RX. Okay, so then what will happen? So this halogen group and this Na plus ion will leaves as sodium halide, and this R group is attached to the CH carbon, CH minus. So there you will get R, CH, COOET, COOET. So here this is the insertion of alkyl group. Okay, so there you will get alkyl malonic ester. Here the R group is inserted. Okay, so means, so here whatever the amino acid which we are going to synthesize, so here this is the step is a very important thing, because here the R alkyl group is insertion takes place. So now whatever the alkyl malonic ester which is formed here will be undergoing for hydrolysis. So then there is a bond breakage takes place between carbonyl carbon and OET, C double bond O, OET, breakage takes place. So there you will be getting ethyl alcohol has lived, then you will get a carboxylic acid. Means the two ester groups COOET, COOET becomes carboxylic acid groups. There you will get alkyl malonic acid, alkyl malonic acid, R, CH, CO, OH, COOH. Now this is treated with bromine and it will be heated. So here as when we heat this malonic acid, alkyl malonic acid, that this CO2 is leaves from the molecule, then you got this hydrogen will be added here to the alpha carbon. So then after that bromine is reacted and bromine is attached at alpha carbon, so that you will get alpha bromo carboxylic acid. So in this process there are two things are happening. So one is removal of CO2 because of the heat. So because when one carbon is attached with two carboxylic acid groups, so when we heat that the CO2 will be evolved, so that one carboxylic group would be there. So here the this is in this one carboxylic acid group is removed as CO2 and that hydrogen is added to CH alpha carbon. Now in the second step bromine is reacted with this alpha carbon, and that alpha at that alpha carbon this bromine is attached, so that you will be getting alpha bromo carboxylic acid. This is similar to alpha halogenation reaction. This is similar to alpha halogenation reaction, right. So whatever the alpha bromo carboxylic acid which is formed here is reacted with ammonia. So then minus HBr, there you will be getting R, CH, COOH and NH2. So here NH2 amine group is added to the alpha carbon in the place of bromine, that amine group is added. So this process you will be getting alpha amino acid. So here in the alpha carbon amine group NH2 group is attached, so that you will be getting alpha amino acid. So this process is malonic ester synthesis of amino acids. So in this the starting material is malonic ester, and that is treated with sodium in the presence of ethyl alcohol. There you will be getting a carbon ion, because alpha carbons are alpha hydrogens are highly acidic, so that hydrogen leaves, so that you get a carbon ion which is having a counter ion with Na plus, and then which is reacted with alkyl halide, and now that alkyl group is added to the malonic ester. So here this is the insertion of alkyl group reaction, and then it is hydrolyzed. There will be getting alkyl malonic acid, then it will be heated and reacted with bromine. There will be getting a alpha bromo carboxylic acid, then it is treated with ammonia, then that NH2 amine group is attached to the alpha carbon in the place of bromine, so that you will be getting alpha amino acids. This is the reaction mechanism of malonic ester synthesis. Here the important thing is the second step, insertion of alkyl group, means nothing but reaction with alkyl halide. So here the product is we are getting is RCH NH2COOH. Whatever the R alkyl group which is we are observing in this final product is inserted in the second step. So that means, so if you want to get a desired amino acid, so the alkyl group which is there in that amino acid is attached at the second step only, right? That's why the second step is very important, so that the R alkyl group is inserted to the malonic ester part. Okay, so this is the mechanism of malonic ester synthesis, malonic ester process of amino acid synthesis. Now we will see some examples through this process. Next, for the first one is preparation of valine. Preparation of valine. So observe here, as we know, so valine, the structure of valine is CH3 CH CH3 CH NH2 COOH. So here this valine is containing a alkyl group, so that alkyl group is isopropyl group. So now this alkyl group is isopropyl group. So in the second step of synthesis, we have to add isopropyl halide, so that the desired valine will be synthesized. Now we will observe the mechanism of this synthesis of valine. So now observe here. So the starting material is malonic ester. Okay, this is treated with sodium and ethyl alcohol. There you will be getting Na plus CH minus COOET COOET, a carbon ion which is stabilized with Na plus ion, and then in the second step we are reacting with RX, that is isopropyl bromide. Now what will happen? The sodium bromide is relieved from the reaction, and this isopropyl group is attached to the malonic ester. So there you will be getting isopropyl malonic ester. So this group is attached here to the alpha carbon. So now what will happen? Then we will be undergoing for hydrolysis. So there these two ester parts will be converted into acids. So COOH and COOH. Next, then again it will be heated, and because of heat that COOH will be leaved as CO2, and this hydrogen is added to the alpha carbon. Now reaction with bromine, this bromine will be attached to the alpha carbon, so that we will be getting alpha bromo carboxylic acid, and after that we are reacting this alpha bromo carboxylic acid with ammonia. Then this amino group NH2 group is attached to the alpha carbon in place of bromine, so that we will be getting alpha amino acid, that is nothing but valine. So CH3 CH CH3 CH NH2 COOH. So this is the synthesis of valine through the malonic ester process. So here in the case of second step, we have inserted isopropyl halide, so that valine is synthesized. The second example through this process is synthesis of leucine. Just observe the leucine, the structure of leucine. Okay, leucine is containing isobutyl group. Leucine is consisting of isobutyl group as alkyl group. So that is CH3 CH CH3 CH2 CH COOH NH2. So here this alkyl group is this, that is isobutyl group. So now in the second step of synthesis, we have to add isobutyl halide. So now we'll see the synthesis process of leucine. Just observe here. Yeah, so here the starting material is malonic ester, the same thing, then that is reacted with sodium and ethoxide, there will be getting a carbon ion, right? And in the second step we are reacting this with isobutyl bromide, because we have to synthesize leucine, right? So this through this sodium bromide is removed, so you will be getting isobutyl malonic ester, means isobutyl group is attached to the malonic ester group. So now isobutyl malonic ester is formed, then again it will be undergoing for hydrolysis. So this two bonds will break and there will be getting carboxylic acid, and then that will be heated, and they because of the heat that one COOH group is leaves as CO2, and then reacting with bromine, and this bromine will be added to the alpha carbon, right? So there will be getting alpha bromo carboxylic acid, and this alpha bromo carboxylic acid is reacted with ammonia, so that NH2 group, that is amino group, will be attached to the alpha carbon in place of bromine, so that will be getting leucine. So leucine is synthesized here in this through this process. So this is the synthesis of leucine from the malonic ester process.